Imagine stepping barefoot onto a jagged hidden nail. Before your conscious mind can formulate a coherent thought, your leg violently jerks upward. A shockwave of unadulterated electricity races from your heel, tearing up your nervous system and exploding into a blinding sensation within your mind. This invisible fire instantly commands your absolute attention, drowning out every other thought in your environment. We spend our lives desperately trying to avoid it, yet without it, our species would not have survived a single generation. This is physical pain, a complex biological alarm system acting as the ultimate guardian of human survival. To understand what physical pain truly is, we must journey inside the microscopic architecture of the human body. Pain does not exist in the physical world. It is a sophisticated interpretation created entirely by your brain. The process begins at the very edges of your body in specialized sensory nerve endings known as nociceptors. These microscopic sensors are scattered by the millions throughout your skin, muscles, and internal organs. Nociceptors act as vigilant border guards, remaining silent until they detect stimuli that could cause tissue damage. They are specifically tuned to recognize distinct threats. Mechanical threats include crushing pressure. Thermal threats involve extreme heat. Chemical threats emerge from acid burns or internal inflammation. When a threat breaches your defenses, the nociceptors trigger an electrical signal. This signal is primarily carried by two distinct types of nerve fibers. Fast-transmitting fibers act like a broadband connection, instantly sending a sharp, localized signal to your brain. This is the sudden, piercing sting that makes you pull away from danger. Slow-transmitting fibers lack this insulation and carry the dull, throbbing ache that follows the initial injury, reminding you to protect the damaged area while it heals. These signals race toward your spinal cord, which acts as a biological switchboard. From the spinal cord, the distress signal is launched into the brain, branching out simultaneously. It hits the somatosensory cortex, which maps exactly where the injury occurred. It strikes the limbic system, generating the emotional reaction of fear or distress. Finally, it reaches the frontal cortex, which assigns meaning to the suffering and forces behavioral changes. The moment these brain regions illuminate together is the exact fraction of a second you consciously perceive pain. The causes of this biological alarm are as diverse as human experience. Acute pain is typically caused by sudden trauma, such as a fractured bone or a severe burn. It is a direct response to tissue damage. However, internal issues like infections or autoimmune disorders can cause surrounding tissues to swell, placing mechanical pressure on nociceptors. Another terrifying cause is neuropathic pain, occurring when the nervous system itself malfunctions. The biological wires misfire, sending phantom signals of burning or electric shocks to the brain, even when no actual physical tissue damage is occurring. When pain transitions from a brief warning into a constant state, it creates severe consequences for the body. Acute pain triggers the sympathetic nervous system, flooding the bloodstream with adrenaline and cortisol. This increases heart rate and prepares the body for a survival scenario. But the human body was never designed to endure this state permanently. Chronic pain, persisting for months or years, traps the body in an endless stress loop. This continuous barrage of agony suppresses the immune system, elevates blood pressure, and disrupts restorative sleep. Over time, chronic pain alters brain architecture, shrinking areas associated with emotional regulation and leading to profound depression, overwhelming anxiety, and complete physical exhaustion. This brings us to the fascinating concepts of pain thresholds and pain limits. People often confuse these terms, but biologically they represent different mechanisms. The pain threshold is the exact neurological point at which a stimulus is first perceived as painful. Biological research shows that the threshold is virtually identical across all healthy human beings. If you apply a heat probe to the skin, almost everyone registers it as painful at exactly the same temperature. Pain tolerance, however, is an entirely different story. Tolerance is the maximum amount of pain a person can safely endure before breaking physically or psychologically. Unlike the threshold, tolerance is incredibly subjective and varies wildly from person to person. What happens when human suffering reaches its absolute upper limits? The body has a finite capacity to process agony. When a traumatic injury is so severe that the nervous system becomes overwhelmed by the sheer volume of distress signals, the brain initiates an ultimate defense mechanism. To protect the conscious mind from catastrophic trauma, the brain triggers a massive release of endogenous opioids, nature's most powerful painkillers, temporarily numbing the sensation. In extreme scenarios of unsurvivable agony, the sheer intensity of the nervous system overload, combined with massive blood loss, triggers a dramatic drop in blood pressure. This results in neurogenic shock, causing the individual to lose consciousness entirely. Passing out is the ultimate biological circuit breaker, a final mercy from a brain that can no longer process the terrifying reality of its physical destruction. Given this terrifying reality, humanity has long sought ways to increase pain tolerance. If our tolerance is not entirely fixed, how can we train our bodies to endure more? The answer lies in the incredible plasticity of the human brain and the endocrine system. One of the most effective ways to increase your tolerance is through rigorous, sustained physical exercise. High-intensity training routinely subjects the body to controlled levels of discomfort. Over time, this forces the brain to adapt by increasing the baseline production of endorphins and dopamine. Athletes and military personnel who regularly push past their comfort zones physically rewire their brains to interpret distress signals as less threatening. Psychological conditioning is equally powerful. Cognitive behavioral therapies and deep mindfulness meditation have been shown to significantly raise a person's pain tolerance. By training the mind to observe a physical sensation without attaching immediate panic to it, an individual can lower the volume of the pain signal in the limbic system. Deep breathing techniques stimulate the vagus nerve, naturally calming the body and reducing the biological perception of suffering. Furthermore, sheer motivation and adrenaline can temporarily grant humans superhuman tolerance, allowing individuals to perform incredible feats of strength during terrifying emergencies. Physical pain is ultimately a paradox. It is the sensation we fear the most, the burden that can break the human spirit. Yet it is the greatest evolutionary gift we possess. It is the harsh, uncompromising teacher that prevents us from destroying ourselves, guiding our survival through a chaotic world. Understanding its biology allows us to respect the profound complexity of the human machine and the incredible resilience of the human spirit in the face of absolute agony. Please note that the information provided on this health channel is for educational and informational purposes only, and is not intended as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician regarding a medical condition. Thank you for tuning in to the Health Channel for this deep dive into the fascinating biology of human pain. We hope this exploration provided you with valuable insights into how your body protects itself and how you can harness your physiology to build greater resilience. Taking control of your health begins with understanding the mechanisms operating beneath your skin every single second of your life. If you found this information engaging, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment sharing your experiences or health topics you want us to demystify next. Stay informed, stay resilient, and keep prioritizing your well-being.